could she technically like throw Bran in there and get a 2-for-1 special?
Yeah. Get the wizard and the child in the same one. Hey guys, here goes episode 15 of the Glass Candle Podcast, where we look at what is, what could be, and what will come to pass in A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm one of your hosts today, Arik.
And I'm Lillian, and we admin over at the A Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones Discussions and Theories Facebook group.
And joining us today is another admin from this group. It's Matt.
Hey guys.
So today we are on to the final chapter in A Game of Thrones. This is, what number chapter is this, Lillian?
Dany 10.
Dany 10. It's the Dragon Hatcher chapter. So the way we do things here at the GCP, so we're going to go for a quick chapter summary. We're going to discuss who the main character was. We're going to figure out who had the biggest influence over that character and why. Knowing how the future plays out, we discuss what the character should have tried to do differently to avoid that result. We take a look at how the actions in this chapter affect the other plots. Alternative POV, so what other person's viewpoint of the events in this chapter would you have liked to see it from? We move over to quotes, standout appearances, and then we close out with theories or whatever. So, with that out the way, Lillian, go ahead for our hashtag high-level summary.
The chapter opens with the Dothraki preparing Drogo's funeral pyre, and Miriam Azor cautioning Dany from whatever she plans on doing. Jorah fears Dany plans to die on the pyre, but she assures him she does not mean to. Dany announces to the remaining Dothraki that they are free, and those who choose to remain will make up her Khalasar. She gives her bride gifts to her Khas, asking them to become her Khos. She names Jorah the first of her Queensguard. Dany bathes and prepares Drogo's body for the pyre. She places her dragon eggs on the pyre and has Miriam Azor tied to the pyre as well. Once the red comet is spotted, Dany lights the pyre. As she watches it burn, she sees visions in the flames. Dany enters the pyre unafraid and calling for her children. Once the fire has died, Dany emerges with 3 baby dragons, and she knows the Dothraki are hers. Did I miss anything?
That sums it up. All right, so let's dive on in. So who is the main character of this chapter? And this one's pretty straightforward. It's obviously Dany.
Yeah, it's Dany all day. And that answers your next question, too. Who has the most impact on it? It's her, like, all premeditated. Through the whole way, you can argue Mary for a minute, because she got the idea of magic, but Dany has everything set in a specific way for her. For the funeral pyre, like she says, she wants a large place north to south, from ice to fire.
Yeah, the whole that ice to fire bit was like kind of jumped out with the way the chapter was written there. Like you don't hear a whole lot of folks like talk about like because obviously ice to fire means north to south, north being the ice and the south being the fire part. But so that was an interesting choice of words there that they threw in it.
Another thing in that very beginning, like when Jorah is talking to her. I think it's kind of interesting that he says, let's go to Yiti or Ahai the Shadow.
Yeah, I don't know how much Jorah actually fucking knows about E.T. and Ahai anyway, so it's definitely weird why he just started listing off stuff. But I think he was acting more in a desperation spot, but yeah, I don't know, I guess he was just trying to change the way she was going to go about doing things. But yeah, so we kind of already moved into who had the biggest influence over the main character or the POV character and why. So for that one, I had a mix of Miri and Jhogo. Jhogo for like the obvious reasons, she's setting the fire pyre up for him and everything like that to honor him as this great cow that died and everything like that. Dead husband, dead kid, sad day. A lot of her emotions are going through like that. But Miri kind of pisses her off to a point to where Dany is just trying to be an asshole to her. She has her whipped at one point, and then her idea to burn her like comes kind of off the cuff, or at least to everyone else around her. They were just like, "Oh shit, I didn't know you were gonna do this." But a lot of that, there's a lot of back and forth between Miri and Dany, and I kind of wonder if towards the beginning of the chapter, like Miri like sassing off to her, like kind of made Dany be like, "All right, bitch, you want to play this game?" And then she goes into the pyre. Lillian, what do you think?
I had Miri as well, but kind of going back to the whole Jorah thing. So from last week's episode where we figured out that the Great John doesn't know geography for shit, Jorah is also from the north, so it's entirely possible that he doesn't know where Yi and Ashai are. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, those are like names that he's seen on a map somewhere. He's just like, we can just go here, go there.
He may not even be able to read. But yeah, so I had Miriam as Azor because her whole, the death for life thing. I think Dany got so caught up in that she's a stubborn child and she was gonna take it and twist it to basically work how she wanted it to work.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Dany knew kind of what was going to happen like after the pyre, but she uses like the stuff that Mary said to her to kind of throw back in her face a little bit.
I think that was her justifying burning her. At first, she didn't know she was going to hatch dragons. She taken what she had said to her earlier, and let's see.
She was kind of like, yeah, not like now what, like see what I did here, and like trying to one up on her with all that.
I think it's right before that though. Right before she talked to me or right after is when she names her code on her blood rider, and I think her gifts were pretty cool. She promises Ser Jorah a Valyrian steel blade like he had never seen, and it's interesting that he doesn't name her, or that she doesn't name him Lord Commander of her Queen's Guard. She just names him the first of her Queen's Guard.
Does she know the distinction? Do we know if she knows?
I don't know, but I'm thinking of it that this is her. This chapter is all about her coming to terms with her. Now she's, for the first time in a while, able to make every decision for herself. Before that, she had Jhogo making all the decisions. Before that, she had Viserys making all the decisions in their lives. She is just now becoming truly independent. So everything that she is doing, starting to set things for a purpose in her mind. So I think she knows the distinction, and she did that on purpose.
I definitely agree that she's coming into her own. There's a quote that I'm gonna get onto later on when we jump into it, where she outright expresses that she's the one in charge here. But yeah, we'll jump into that one in a little bit. So Lillian, take us to our next talking point. Yeah.
Right. Knowing how the future plays out, what should the POV character have done differently to avoid the result? I couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah, she ended up with dragons. What do you?
Yeah, she won. Like, what do you want her to do?
Yeah, I was definitely looking through here, and I'm trying to find like, all right, I gotta find something to put here. So like the best I could come up with was not burn Drogo's cool weapons, because he has a lot of cool shit that she tosses in the fire too. So I was like, I guess maybe just not do that. Throw his clothes and his dead horse and everything in there, and be like, you other Dothraki guys, so we can get a name. You can have this thing, but yeah, Dany, like, she did everything right here. Well, everything turned out right, more or less.
She was lucky.
Yeah, it's hard to argue when they told us dragons.
Yeah, like, you lose your husband, but you come out with 3 dragons, so it's like, okay. You win. Checkmate. Alright, so that was a quick one. So Matt, take us into how this chapter affects the plot moving forward.
We know this is like the reinvigoration of magic. From this moment, magic seems people's use of it becomes stronger. But I want to, that's kind of the only impact it has directly on everything else right now. Clearly, the dragons were just born. Nobody knows. So there's the huge future impact of what follows. But at this moment in time, when we leave the chapter, she's just walked out with the dragons. So at this, like, it has an immediate impact of magic being reinvigorated. But for a while, until word gets out there is no other impact.
So obviously, dragons are in. Big deal. Probably a lot farther on Not until we get to like a Dance of Dragons where they're killing people. She has to lock them up, and she has all these things she's got to deal with. Also, a lot later on, towards A Feast for Crow, whenever everybody starts hearing rumors about the dragons and everything like that. Also, in A Dance with Dragons, Drogo's dead now, so that frees her up for marriage for Quentin. Kind of. That's some far off loose connection between Quentin and Hisdar. And Ago, Jhogo, and Ricaro, if that's how you guys pronounce their names, those 3 Blood Riders. At first, they're just kind of like, we'll hang out with you. We'll take you back to the Crones. But then afterwards, once the dragons are born, old boy like sticks his face right down in the ash and like bows down to her. So they are committed and they stick with her for the rest of the series. So that's probably one of the bigger ones aside from the dragons. Those 3 and her small contingent of Dothraki like sticking with her up until where we are now at the end of A Dance with Dragons. But Dany's kind of separate, so a lot of the stuff that we can apply from the other POVs where they interact together in Westeros, it makes a lot more sense there. But with Dany, it's kind of how this affects like just her future, not so much the other storylines.
Yeah, she's completely on her own over in Essos, and that's what I had. It brings dragons back into the world, and like Matt said, so the just introducing magic, and eventually, way, way, way down the road, technically only like 2 years later, but 5 books later, Dany finally becomes a legitimate threat that Westeros has to worry about.
I think it might be a little bit too early to say like her gaining her her dragons being birthed here begin her reputation for Barristan to come and join her. So we can kind of make that argument. I just thought of that now. I think her fame kind of grows a little bit more, and then we'll hit another chapter somewhere in the future that directly or probably more closely correlates with this kind of portion. But
did Illyrio know that the dragons were hatched, though? Like, does that have anything to do with the reason that Illyrio sent Barristan to her?
I think he got word from Jorah after it happened, Or Jorah got word to Varys, and, Varys works for Illyrio.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
But I think it's just, Jhogo's the first one. As soon as she walks out of the fire, Jhogo's the first one to put Arik down. I think Jhogo has shown that he's the smartest of her Blood Riders. Jhogo's the first one that notices the comet. As soon as she walks out of the fire, he's the first one to immediately, like Eric said, puts his face in the ash. Jhogo showed he's the smartest Dothraki alive. Because not only did he stay, but he's the first one to be like, yes, Khaleesi, I'm yours.
Yeah, he was like, this shit's the real deal. This is it. All right, so if nobody's got anything else, you guys want to jump on to alternative POV? So for mine, I picked Miri, largely because a lot of the mystery of this chapter is if she had anything to do with it, with the dragons hatching, with Dany not being burned and everything like that. So we would probably get a more clear interpretation of what happened there. Find out what quote-unquote magic she used in the tent the night before, or however earlier it was, in the pyre. And maybe we kind of get a sense of Dany being more of a great character with her punishment of her and her, actual little execution of Miri right here. A lot of folks kind of see Dany being a bit harsh with Miri here, because she told Drogo, like, don't put mud in, like, keep the thing on the wound and don't drink alcohol. And Drogo's like, fuck that, I'm going to throw some dirt in here and then get wasted every night. And then he died. So everybody, like, reading it the first time go around, like, whether you're paying attention or not, you're just kind of like, yeah, she probably fucking did something. But when you take a closer look at it, you're like, no, Drogo kind of fucking killed himself and didn't listen to what the doctor said. And now Dany's just going to kill her for reasons. And then Dany agrees to use the dark magic. And Miri's like, are you sure you want to fucking do this? Like, I don't know. Like, this could be bad. And she's like, no, do it. Ends up her kid gets dead. So maybe through Miri's POV, we kind of get a different angle on how Dany treats this whole situation with her. What you got, Matt?
Yeah, I'm with you, Miri, but I was sitting there thinking, like, what would be going through her head? Like, because remember, she says, you will not hear me scream. I wanted, like, what is the internal monologue of Miri
Yeah,
when
right.
she hears back to her? Like, oh shit, I'm really about to burn. But then I kind of also I would think Jorah was another thing kind of stuff, because in the very beginning, Jorah begs her not to, like, run into the fire. And then
Right.
she says, but then she does. So, like, how, like, I want to know, like, what's stopping him from going after, the Dothraki grab, because you would think when Dany starts walking and gets close enough to the fire that he would, like, ran up and try to grab her and pull it back.
Yeah, right. And that's it's definitely an emotional roller coaster for Jorah there that night. You know, he thinks he can get her to go run away with him, because whenever he's suggesting that, he's not thinking like we can bring all of Dothraki too. When he's saying it, he's just like, me and you can go to ET and Ashai and stuff. And then she walks on the pyre and he freaks out, and then he thinks she's dead, and then she's alive with dragons. So that's a rough night for Jorah. What about you, Lillian? What do you think?
I had Jorah mainly because I want to know why he's never brought up Longclaw. You know, when she names him first for Queensguard, and he'll have the finest Valyrian steel sword, whatever else. And it's like, have you ever mentioned to her that you had one at one point? Because she thinks it is a cool gift, because Valyrian steel is rare, but at the same time, like, how excited can he be? He's had one.
Well, when a new Targaryen queen promises like the coolest, most awesome looking sword ever, however much like she has the capability to deliver on that, I'm not going to be like, no, that's cool. I had one, got rid of it, don't need it. Thanks though. Like,
she would be like,
on.
how did you, like, what? How did you have one? What did you? I have to tell that whole story at that point.
Yeah, and well, you know, like I also like ran away with my wife, and then like I was caught like poaching and selling slaves, and
That happens the first chapter of Clash, her first chapter, because I just did that one for the Citadel, that story.
so he gets to it eventually.
Yeah, he would get to it eventually.
But at that moment when she's like proclaiming you a member of the Queen's Guard, and it's not the right moment to bring that up.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
I was
shut up
just wondering.
and you say thanks.
I was just wondering if maybe he thought about Longclaw in that moment. Okay.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then also, like Matt said too, like, why didn't he go after her? It's not like she ran into the flames. She took her fucking time walking up to the pyre. He could have grabbed her at any point.
Yeah, I wonder if he was thinking like, oh no, it's another fucking crazy Targaryen. He's like, oh shit. Yeah, I think like not having it Mary Mazdor like would also be more, or having it Jorah as opposed to Mary Mazdor would be more in George's style, because Jorah wouldn't know what the fuck's going on anyway, and like having us be inside her mind, so like we know like what kind of magic is going on, doesn't fit his style at all.
Yeah.
The closest we get is that Mel chapter, and Mel doesn't really. She gives us a little bit, but we still have like a shit ton of more questions since we were in there for just once. So Beard and Mary Maz is ahead for like a minute while she's doing stuff and then dies.
And then dies.
Yeah, so yeah, I like it. I would have liked to see this from Jorah's head too. We're on to close.
I only have one that I really like stood out to me. Is right before she kills Mary. Mary says, "I will not scream." Because you will, but it's not screams that I want. It's your life. And like I felt like that would have been like a perfect like, I don't know, Dothraki mic drop.
I had that one down too, and I know Matt has seen the movie. Eric, I don't know if it's your style. Blood In, Blood Out. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't heard.
Okay,
of it.
so immediately I thought of Montana when he says, "I don't want his pork chop. I want his life." And I just thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. I'll send you the clip for that, Eric. But
Okay.
it's this guy in prison, and he's like the head of this gang, and he's Mexican or whatever, right? And then there's the Aryan Brotherhood, and the guy's a cook, and he didn't want to give him a pork chop. So it's this whole thing. But he doesn't want the chop. He wants the guy's life. And I thought it was funny.
I'll take a look at the clip. Yeah, to add on to your mic drop thing, like Mary even sits there. She has like a visible response. She like her eyes open up and her mouth drops, and Dany just like kind of walks away. So, I had a couple here. So, on 798, right? Some of this kind of came at me from like I never saw Dany being like this kind of mean, right? So Mary's saying like, Meiji is called, wise and all this stuff. She's saying like she'll help her, and then Danny tells Jhogo, "I am tired of the Meiji's braying," and he took his whip to her, and after like the god's wife kept silent. So she's just like, "Hey, dude, can you shut this girl up? Like, beat this girl to be quiet." And I'm just like, "Damn, Danny, holy shit!" Like, that doesn't seem like you at all. So, not the best light there for Danny.
Also, another thing I want to really quote, but it was more of before she steps into the fire, all the things she sees, like her, like, I don't know what we call her pyre vision, I guess, like.
Oh yeah, her fucking fire hallucinations. I have all kinds of that shit. That was down on mine.
Yeah, she sees a weirwood. She sees flowering trees. I immediately thought weirwood. She sees fishes, so the Tullys. She sees wolves, she sees Stark, and she sees warlocks. So like it's foreshadowing her going to Karth. And then I listened to the audiobook, so I thought he said lion at one point. He said crimson fire, so it's the Lannisters, and then unicorns in a pale blue flame.
Mm-hmm.
I know what to make of that one.
Gagos, I guess. Rick, but yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense with blue and unicorns.
And then she says she sees foxes. The only thing I can think is like, aren't the House Florence fox?
Yeah.
That kind of looks Stannis. And then she says monsters, so I was guessing the others. So she's basically seeing the war, like she's seeing bits of the war fight going on in the north.
Yeah, that's a cool interpretation of it. Yeah, I was just reading it, just like, damn, this bitch tripping. But yeah, like applying it to like the sigils of the area. Do we know any kind of house that has a serpent as a sigil?
Oh, there's what's the one that has the serpent eating its own tail because of Aegon?
Toland?
House Toland has a.
It's a dragon eating itself.
Yeah, it's a dragon eating its tail, but yeah, serpent, dragon. Yeah, that kind of goes with it.
So I was on the same level with Matt, trying to match him up to houses and stuff, and after the dragon one.
Oh, I missed the dragon one.
Well, sorry, not the dragon, the lions. So saw crimson fire lions and great yellow serpents. So I was trying to figure that one out, and I was thinking krakens, yellow.
Oh.
That was the only thing I could come up with because I was trying to match it up like Matt did.
Yellow. Yeah.
Water serpents. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see that. What about bright birds? Wolves and bright birds and flowering trees. Like, that's a lot of northern stuff there. The flowering trees mean weirwoods. The birds could be the ravens.
It could be a lot of things.
Okay.
But yeah, the unicorn threw me off. So that's when I stopped trying to match it up because I was like,
there's a house with a unicorn, right?
Well, I was thinking Eric, like Sky Ghost and Unicorn, but it was just in a pale blue flame. Is what threw me on that. So that's why I was like, I don't know. But
well, a lot of the winter roses that Danny sees later on are described as pale blue.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff like regarding Lyanna is the pale blue winter roses. So pale blue flame, like that points up towards the north and the Starks in like the winter kind of setting as well.
Oh my god, imagine if Rhaegar and Lyanna were hiding on Skagos.
Holy shit. That's it.
There's branching the theory.
Oh god.
Rickon knows. Davos is gonna know.
That's how we're gonna get it, is through Rickon, not Bran.
Yeah. And then everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck does this little boy know? Like, you're talking crazy shit. Rhaegar wasn't up here. And then we're gonna know, and no one is gonna believe it. He's gonna be like, no, Jon's a Targaryen, guys.
Oh god.
He's Jon Sand.
No, we're not doing that. No.
Oh
No.
fuck. Okay, you got a quote, or should I jump on to
I have another one. So, like I said, I had the one that Matt did earlier, and then another one I had on 804. Dany's fucking crazy chick. So when she's watching the pyre, and Jhogo was caught on fire, And she says part of her wanted to go to him as Ser Jorah had feared, to rush into the flames to beg for his forgiveness and take him inside her one last time. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're gonna ride a burning dick?
Yeah. Shit's hot.
I mean, she steps out. I mean, she steps out and she has one dragon on each of her tits. And then Drogon around her. I mean,
There's a lot of stuff like that. So
It's always Dany's chapters.
yeah, it's always Dany. Like
she's like, I don't know. She's blossoming as a woman.
I get like she's walking into the fire and like her tits start leaking milk.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking weird.
That's disturbing.
And of course, the egg that first cracks is Viserion, and that was placed between Drogo's legs. You know.
Yeah. Like whenever she's like getting like her bath and
Oiled.
cleaned up and shit, like they make sure to, or George makes sure to tell us that
Eerie oils
you know
for sex.
where Eerie puts her spice flower scent
Yes.
on the tips of her milk heavy breasts, not just her breasts, her milk heavy breasts, and then you know, I'll read it, I guess. Eerie's
Vagina.
finger, or the last dab was for her sex. Eerie's finger felt light and cool as a lover's kiss as it slid softly between her lips. Like, thank you. Cool.
Or just two 13-year-old bitch.
Yes!
Yeah, like, okay. That's not uncomfortable at all.
I don't care if it's a medieval story. It's still weird and just awkward.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's just weird that he had to write it. Like, they put the stuff on her. Alright, cool.
They prepared her. They, whatever they want to call it. You don't have to fucking say they did this and this and they touched this and whatever else.
But like, even then, you're just like, okay, cool. But like, why does her tits start leaking when she walks into the fire? Like, that's not necessary.
Like, she doesn't even get to the fire yet before they start leaking. Like,
Yeah.
Well, she was pregnant, and that happens to. I've never had children, so I don't I haven't experienced that. But I know,
but
Yeah,
breast
tell us,
leak.
Lillian, how does it...
fire just
You have a kid, Matt. Don't boobs leak? You don't know.
But fire, just make them just start, shooting out like super soakers. I mean,
Oh my god. Okay.
I mean, I guess if we had to try to figure out a point to all that, it's to show that something is taking over Dany and like she's not in control of like something's possessing her. She's not in control of her own body or like what she's doing.
I wouldn't
Because
say
she's
it
like
that way at all.
yeah, it's just supernaturally.
she's
the
drawn
drag-
to it.
It's
She's
her
drawn
being
to
the
the
mother
flame.
of dragons. Her breast spilling
Yeah.
milk, it helps her. That's why when she's talking about herself, she's the bride of dragons, the child of dragons, the mother of dragons. I feel like that was a sign to her that she's meant to be the mother of dragons. Because she ends up breastfeeding them, which is weird.
Yeah,
Walks
that's
out.
weird.
Yeah, when she walks out, it's Viserion and Rhaegal on her tits, and then I think they kind of show like what their roles are going to be right there for the dragons. Drogon's going to be the protector. It's going to be Dany's like protector because he wraps around her.
The alpha,
The other two are nursing.
betas.
Yeah, and they're the ones who end up getting locked up. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And Drogon's the one that comes and saves her. Again, alpha and betas and stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess like it all shows her being motherly and stuff. I don't know. I had another quote away from her tits and stuff. So Matt, you mentioned this a little bit earlier about how Dany's taken charge of what is hers and everything like that. And
Yeah.
On 799, Jorah calls her princess, and she's just like, "Why the fuck do you call me that? Like, you called Viserys a king," and he's like, "Well, yeah," and she's like, "Well, he's dead. I'm his heir. I'm the last blood of House Targaryen. Whatever's his is mine." And he's like, "Queen," and she's probably just like, "Yeah, motherfucker, yes,
yeah, bitch.
I'm a queen now." So yeah, like that definitely rolls in with her taking charge of the situation, and she gives the gifts out. She calls herself a queen, like she should be. And also in tandem with this, the last blood of House Targaryen and Viserys being, or her being Viserys' heir, means that Jon is not in line to inherit shit. Aside from him abandoning all claims from the Night's Watch, and if he is Rhaegar's son, Aerys named Viserys, Viserys named Dany. That's it.
Targaryens lost the throne. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter anyway.
Okay,
True.
so...
Yeah.
Nah.
But going further, because some people choose to ignore that. So
Idiots.
if we ignore that they lost their claim to the throne anyway, by following that line, it still doesn't line up to Jon. There's like
Well,
4 levels that you got to break through. Like
okay.
Targaryens are not in line to the throne anyway. Jon
First of
also
all,
is about to
Aerys-
be claimed to the throne.
Okay, so Aerys disowned Aegon, right? And he skipped Aegon to go
Yeah.
to Viserys, right? And so
Right.
is Dany assuming she is Viserys' heir? Like, it's never been said anywhere. Is it just because she's the last Targaryen?
Yeah. Of course, the next sibling is there. But Aerys disinherited Rhaegar. Didn't disinherit Aegon, but by disinheriting Rhaegar, disinherits his line.
He passed over Aegon. Like, it's in the World of Ice and Fire book specifically. Once Rhaegar is dead, Aerys passes over Aegon for Viserys.
Right. But he had already disinherited his line. I think they, in the World of Ice and Fire, they just like use that to like reinforce the fact that.
Okay. Well, all of that aside, Eric, per the Great Council of 101, women cannot inherit the throne.
But
Unless there's no other
if
heir.
if Jon is Rhaegar's son and ends up being legitimate and whatever else, Jon has the better claim over Dany.
But at this point, the Council of 101 doesn't matter to them now. The Council of 101 is set for a line of succession. They're not the ruling house. The only way they can get the throne is by conquest at this point.
Yes.
So the Council of 101, if Dany goes in and takes the throne, it's hers. The Council of 101 means nothing now. Their whole line of succession doesn't matter right now.
No, yeah,
I see what you mean, because the Council of
completely
101
agree with
applies
you.
only to the royal family.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, but then there's those people who are so adamant that they still own the throne. It doesn't matter that they lost it to Robert, so that's why I would bring in the Great Council of 101 into that discussion versus the people who accept the fact that they lost it and Dany would have to get it through conquest.
Interesting here. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was going to say, there was one more thing that I wanted to point out, you see Dany starting to grow in this chapter. Early on, when she gives all of her co's the gifts, each one of them denies her. And she doesn't stop. She doesn't, drop her head. She doesn't, make any signs of, oh, shit. Oh, no, I didn't plan for this. No, she just forged ahead and kept going. And then when finally, was it Ricardo? I think it's Ricardo's last, who says that he would ride with her all the way to the Mother of Mountains and she doesn't even say anything. And then once they come to her, she said they are mine, like they were never Drogo's. Not just that they are hers, but she knew at that moment that she could get them to do anything, including eventually cross the poison water.
Hopefully, at some point.
Yeah, that's what she's going to try. Well, I think if she tells them to, I think they will.
At this point, they definitely will, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that she never hesitates or reacts to their half, or 2 of them say no, can't do this, sorry, and the last one is just I'll take you back to the crones. But yeah, she never stops and be like, oh no. She's just well, maybe the next one, and she just keeps going down the line, and then at the end, she's like, I got him now. So that almost lends it to she was she had this planned out. Just yeah, okay, yeah, sure, just wait. Okay, I got dragons now, and now I got you. So I don't think she did plan it at all, but and it almost leads it to assume that.
She had to put on that strong and brave front at the very beginning, anyway.
Right.
So, because she was thinking, okay, I'm gonna burn these, and then I'll grab my eggs, and then, oh shit, I gotta find a way not to end up at the Mother of Mountains.
Right. And that's a big part, too. A lot of people call Dany spoiled and all this other shit. But, I mean, she was 4 years old. 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 incorrectly, I believe.
I was like, who the hell calls her spoiled?
Oh, everybody fucking calls her spoiled.
How?
Saying she was given 3 dragon eggs from the very beginning.
Oh, okay,
like,
I remember that now.
She
Yeah,
intended to fucking hatch them, but
Yeah.
in the very beginning, she's sold as a sex wife. And then at the end here, like her only reason for living is dead now, and now she's like making moves. Like I got to figure something out. So in this society, I'm not going to call it sexist because that's not how they view it. It's just certain gender roles and everything like that, where they're just like, oh, a woman can't do this, so like I guess we'll just go back. Yeah, right. But they don't think of her as stupid. They're just like, I kind of like you, but like you're not supposed to do this. And she's just like, don't worry about it. Just take the shit, and then like we'll figure stuff out. So it's a real strong move to where like she's venturing in an area where like these people are completely unfamiliar with it, and she's just like, I got to do this. So yeah, I think it's a strong moment for Dany for sure. Even aside from hatching the dragons, just how she manages her people in this chapter is a real big feather in her cap.
I do. I agree. The whole chapter, like even take away the dragons hatching, the whole lead up to it, like that she owned this chapter. She came into her own on this, and she absolutely, from the very beginning of it, she blew me away this whole chapter.
I got another quote before we jump on to standouts. This one's on 98. Yeah, so it's kind of in a couple places, right? So Miri calls her a child with a child's ignorance and stuff like that. And then later on, she's given her speech to the Dothraki. I was a child yesterday, today I'm a woman, tomorrow will be old. And then she's given her speech to get everybody to follow her. And I thought that was a really good way to absorb like this insult that Miri gave and like shoved in her face, and for her to like accept that and turn it around and use it as like her own maturation like through this chapter. So she recognizes like, yeah, I am a child. And then obviously later on through the next couple of books, she's like, I'm just an innocent girl. I don't know shit about war. Like, what do I do? But she's being facetious as fuck and the whole time, and like she has her own ideas and stuff like that. So with this part here saying, I was a child yesterday, I'm a woman today, I'm old tomorrow, I think that's a really like level-headed and far-sighted and kind of mature way to see, or for her to look at herself and see her in this situation that comes at her and learn from it and grow and then like move forward with it.
Yeah.
And the child quotes like being in a couple places there in this chapter like really kind of stood out to me like that.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to when Jhogo it kind of ties into the quote between when her and Miri went back and forth, but immediately after she tells Miri that I want your life is when Jhogo notices the comment, and like that gives Dany like an extra like, she calls it the dragon's tail, and it reaffirms her in that moment. It gives her an extra boost of, yes, this is right. This is what I'm going to do. This will work.
Yeah, she's like, that's as good a sign as any.
Yeah.
So Leah, I wanted to cut back to something, and I don't know if you can patch this into where we were talking about it.
I
but you
hope
called
you were gonna forget it.
The Council of 101, right? Where you're going to reference that in defense of Jon having a higher claim than Dany, when you are a hardline supporter of Rhaenyra, saying she had the right over Aegon, but now in this exact same situation, you're referencing 101 to say that Jon has a better claim than Dany. So I'm giving you the option now. Are you rescinding your support for Rhaenyra and backing Aegon, saying he's the rightful?
No.
Okay, so
Viserys overruled it. Viserys made Rhaenyra the heir. No.
I think what she's arguing is R plus L equals D, though. So she's arguing Jon's not even Targaryen, that Dany is Rhaegar's third child.
If that's the basis, then okay. But if we're under the assumption that Jon is Rhaegar's kid,
you're not changing. No, Rhaenyra. No, it's not happening.
Sure.
We have this argument
Rhaenyra
like once a week.
Unequivocally, Viserys' heir.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra has.
So in that same vein, Dany is undeniably Viserys is heir. You think it's kind of interesting how like both these people that they're
Viserys.
supposed to be heiring from is Viserys?
Things go crazy
And there's an
right
Aegon.
after.
Yeah.
Things go crazy right after a Viserys is king. After
Yeah.
Viserys was the dance. After Viserys second was Aegon the Unworthy. And then now after this Viserys, we get dragons again. But this is the first Viserys that the immediately following wasn't just an absolute shitstorm.
Note to future
Could- we
Targaryens,
don't know
name your
yet.
fucking kid Daenerys or Viserys. Good shit doesn't happen when you name your kid Viserys.
Because remember, Viserys second was like kidnapped during the Dance of the Dragons too. Thought he was dead for the longest time.
Just a bad name.
Since we're talking about Dance of the Dragons, this seems like a great segue to jump into our weekly poll.
Well, for the standout, I had the dragon babies as my standout, so yeah.
Dragon babies as your standout, so we got double segues here. Let me pull this bitch up.
Okay, well then, on that I'm gonna say my standout, other than Dany because she owns this chapter wholly. I give it to Jhogo for noticing the comment and then being the first one to immediately bow down to Dany. Like, he proved that, like, okay, most of the Dothrakis may be just dumb horse jocks, but he's kind of clever. He's got a little cleverness.
I'm jumping ahead here. Is he the one that finds Karth? Or is that Rhaenyra?
I can tell you in a second.
I mean, it's unimportant. But if he's the one that finds
I just
Karth,
read
then
this.
that'll just
I don't
like back him up as the best one of the three. Because one of them dies, don't he? Is it Aga? Fuck, I don't know.
I thought
I thought
Ricaro
one-
died. I don't know. Jhogo found Karth, yes.
There you go. MVP Dothraki. Jhogo.
Jhogo's MVP of the Khalasar.
My standout was Jorah. So I think he's basically the reading audience / the exposition tool. So he's saying like, don't kill yourself, please. Which like when the readers are hearing this, they're just like, fuck, Danny, don't like that'd be weird. Don't kill yourself. And he's like, we can like go visit all the cool cities now. And then the audience is probably just like, yeah, like let's go check out these cool cities. And so he's kind of like our conduit into there. Like he's saying all the things like the reader would say. Unless you just like really hate her, then you're just like, yeah, you should like jump in there
Kill
too,
yourself.
right? But yeah, so he's a Queensguard now. He's the first ever of Daenerys' Queensguard that we touched upon now, and yeah, he's the one that acknowledges her as queen first. Viserys was queen, and now she's the queen. So yeah, Jorah gets the standout appearance for me on this one.
I gotta give an honorable mention. Is this the first time the comment pops up?
For Danny.
But it showed up earlier for.
Fuck, I thought it did. I don't know.
It comes up in Crescent's in the
In
prologue.
his for Clash.
This might be the first time.
It gets an
I'm pretty
honorable
sure
mention.
you're right.
And then another point to Jhogo.
Yeah, the first character in the story to see the comment. That everybody freaks out.
Jhogo is Azor Ahai.
Holy shit!
Oh.
He's in
Yeah,
everything. Birth of the Dragons.
Oh, it's not the first time.
Oh.
So the morning that Ned dies, Maester Lewin is looking at it. So we hear about it first in a Bran chapter, but I'm still gonna go with Jhogo as Azor Ahai now. Like,
Or is Lewin?
Lewin's dead.
What if?
But
What,
he
hey,
died at the werewood tree. What's up, Matt?
what if it's the same day? What if it went east to west? We're just hearing about it first from.
Right, because
Lewin.
Danny's
That's true.
Danny's
They saw
timeline's all screwed up.
Good point.
So Jhogo is the first person. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna stamp that down as canon because I have the authority to do
We have a new favorite character
that. Fucking joke.
to add to our list of people that people don't care about.
Yeah, right. All right, so onto this poll right here. So Valerian the Black Dread, an overwhelming favorite, 43.
Well, what was the poll?
Oh fuck yeah! So the poll was, who's your favorite dragon? And then Matt started off. He voted 3, and I was just like, shit, he's voting 3 times, and I'm just like, I don't like that. And he's like, dragon's got 3 heads, dude. And I'm just like, good call, good fucking call. So then we're throwing down. We're voting 3 dragons. With Balerion having 43 and the next best having 10, I don't think everybody voted 3 times. But we got a bunch. Tied for second over here is Drogon, the black one, and Sunfire, one of my favorite ones.
Golden. And well, I just looked it up too. It shows Drogon has 11. Sunfire's got 10.
Oh yeah, 10 and then plus you. Okay, yeah, so that's 11. Yep. So Drogon stole second place with 11. Sunfire's in. Yeah, that's third with 10. Sunfire's the one that ate Rhaenyra. Lillian, did you know that?
No, I had no idea. Oh my god.
It took three bites because she
No.
Six.
Six.
Six?
Thank you.
Oh,
Left the seventh for the stranger.
she was that big.
Was it left arm? Right arm.
Or maybe he was just that small and it took him 6 bites.
I don't know what part of her was left, Matt.
What are y'all tripping about?
Eric's just being a dick.
I'm just taking the jab over here. Took the dragon 6 bites.
Remember, Sunfire dying and like.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have ate her whole if he wanted to, but.
That's a theory.
He's like half dead. Probably has no fucking teeth anymore.
Yeah, probably. Who was the one that fought him? It was Dreamfire, right?
Weren't they in a three-way battle with Melee?
Well, he got fucked up in that.
Vhagar but no, when it got to Dragonstone, it was this is the daughter of Lena and Daemon.
Yeah, it was the Moon Dancer. That's who it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so Moon Dancer fucked him up to his death, pretty much. Vhagar's in there with 9. Vhagar was a beast.
Yeah.
Huge motherfucker. And that one was around for a minute, too.
Vhagar lived a long time.
Yeah, the last of the original 3 to come over.
Yeah, but he's still a Westerosi dragon. Vhagar wasn't a Valyrian dragon. Vhagar
really?
was
born on Dragonstone?
Balerion was the last Valyrian dragon.
Yeah, he was the only one that came from, older than the kids, older than the Conquest.
And Balerion just died of age, right?
Yep.
I think so.
And Vhagar died at the God's Eye?
Vhagar died under Viserys first.
He died during Daemon and Aemon's battle.
Or was it Caraxes that died?
They both died.
Balerion.
I'm talking about Vhagar.
Yeah. Yeah, Vhagar and Caraxes both died.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my favorite battle with the fucking saddles. People don't fucking know that people wear dragon saddles. And what the fuck?
Not because of the dragons, it was the saddles.
That might be the most badass moment.
That is what I would like to see them do. I would love to see Dance of the Dragons.
Daemon just straight slips over on one side and then jumps. Yeah. Now, does he put it the sapphire eye or through his actual eye? Wouldn't that be some shit? Yo,
I like to think it was his other eye.
I would figure it's the regular eye. Well, he used Dark Sister, so Dark Sister could cut through a sapphire, right? Because it's Valyrian.
Yeah.
Either way, Aemon got fucked up.
Oh, hey, since we mentioned Dark Sister, isn't that crazy? The wielder of the Visenya sword kills the dragon rider on Visenya's dragon. Basically sends Visenya's dragon to death.
I know, I was thinking about that because I picked Vhagar because I love Visenya, but Vhagar died on the green side.
Right side.
I picked Cyrax because of Rhaenyra. It's like, oh, I can't win.
So we got Sheep Stealer in there. Sheep Stealer was ridden by Nettles, right? And a lot of people think the big dragon skeleton that Daenerys finds out in the Red Waste is Sheep Stealer. That's entirely speculation. Caraxes the Bloodworm, I think, has one of the coolest names, nicknames of the dragon. Caraxes is also a cool name too. A lot of them have axes and then it's just like some little like piece before it.
They're all just off of Valerian gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cannibals up there with 8. And then there's Rhaenys' dragon, Meraxes, that was killed in Dorne. And then we got a bunch of ties. We got Rhaegal, it's one of Dany's dragons, Syrax, which was Rhaenyra's. Syrax, the very, very smart dragon that was... Or isn't she the one that dropped down and like started fighting everybody on land?
Yeah, instead of just like never went up after they came out of the dragon pit.
Yeah. About as smart as her rider.
Fuck you.
And then
Hey, Dreamfire made the dumbest move in the whole thing when it tried to break through at the top and got itself buried.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that... I think Syrax was dumber. Because it actually had the open air.
Wrong, but it was completely dumb to like try and swoop down and eat them instead of...
Just blazing them out. Yeah.
Yeah, lighting them up like...
And Syrax also tossed little Prince Joffrey, and I didn't like that.
He
only one rider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but he was just. It was. I could see that being like a Joffrey being all like, I'm gonna be really brave here and go out and handle this, and then just not knowing the consequences. That's really sad. I hate Rhaenyra, but I love her kids. We got Silverwing in here. That was
I was surprised there weren't more votes for Silverwing. I love the good Queen Alicent. I would have thought she would have gotten more, especially with the whole theory that Silverwing laid some eggs up at Winterfell.
I would have thought Vermithor would have got some more love.
That was Jaehaerys', right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaehaerys. I mean,
he was in the.
It was Ulf the Hammer or
Ulf the White. There's 2 Ulfs, right? Or is there one?
No, there's one. It's Ulf the White, or he's also called Ulf the Sot, and then it's Hugh Hammer. Hugh Hammer had Vermithor, but I would have thought Vermithor would have got more love because of Jaehaerys.
Well, at the same time, like, I love our group. I love our group, and, we've been having more and more book discussion, but the fact of the matter is, it's still show heavy in terms of membership. So I'm sure, I'm actually surprised that Dany's dragons didn't get more votes. I really thought they would have surpassed everything based on our membership.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Did you put the option for like people to make their own vote or to create their own?
Yeah, because Eric doesn't know how to do things.
No, I was just rushing through it. That's why.
No, Eric just doesn't know how to do things.
Jeff was on there. Stannis.
Well, I'm surprised nobody put like dead Viserion or undead Viserion.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh, dude, it's there.
Oh,
it
is?
It got 2. It got 2 votes.
I haven't looked at it in a while.
Reanimated Viserion.
Jesus Christ! You're not allowed to. I should do polls. You don't know how to.
Dracarys wasn't on there, so that's good.
Ugh.
Vermithor was in the big 3-way battle right at Tumbledown. Isn't that what it was? Yeah. There was the 3-way battle between, I think it was Vermithor. Was that one with Tessarion? Yeah, Tessarion.
And Silver.
Yeah, Silverwing was the other one.
Yeah. Because even without their riders, Vermithor and Silverwing were like...
They were like bonded.
Yeah. They would sleep curled up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
That was in The Princess and the Queen, I believe, is where that battle is written or whatever.
Yep.
That was a really cool part of it. I forgot about that one. So Viserys in there. Melee's the Red Queen. I really like that nickname too. That was the Queen Who Never Was. Rhaenys. That was her dragon. And that one was a monster too. I really dig that one. Moondance is on there. Oh, go ahead.
Dude, that's the one that injured Sunfire and broke its wing and almost killed Aegon.
Yep.
If Aemond and Vhagar hadn't shown up.
Yeah, Rhaenys was super brave.
I liked Rhaenys. She was married to Corlys Valerian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Corlys. He's a dude. So reanimated Viserion's on there, Stannis is on there, and my dude Vermax only got 1, and that was from me. That was Jace's dragon who died at the Battle of the Gullet.
People
Like,
don't know
like
these
this.
dragons.
Vermax. What was Lucerys? Arax? Was it Arax?
Yeah, it was Eric's.
Fuck him too. And Trax is.
They didn't ask for the circumstances in which they were born in, Matt. Come on.
Look, here's my only problem though is when they call them bastards, like when everyone's accusing them of being bastards, they're all calling them Strongs. Like they wouldn't be Strongs ways. Like they would be Waters. You know.
Yeah.
They would get the bastard name of the crown, so at least get it right. Like.
I think it was Aemon's way of being like, instead of just calling them bastards, it was like,
Being
you're bastards from how strong.
Yeah.
Like, we know you are this particular person's kid, so fuck you. Yeah. But they didn't do anything wrong. They were good boys. They were good kids. Aemon was the asshole.
Nah, one of them took out Aemon's eye. No.
Because he called him a bastard.
He was standing up. They were picking on the little brother.
He was going to get a dragon, and he got in the way.
I disagree. Aemon was picking on the littlest kid, so Jace had to step up. And
he was going to get her. And that's when the little shit yelled out, "You stay away from her." Shut up. And then he climbed up, he got his dragon. If he would have stayed out of his business, none of that ever happened.
Yeah, maybe he would have kept his eye then.
Look, if they say you got to lose an eye, but you get the biggest, baddest dragon that's around.
Yeah, that is a good trade-off.
They could take my left eye. I take that. They said Vhagar at that point could melt stone and was almost as big as Balerion.
Yeah, Aemon was a gutsy guy for sure, but he was a prick. He fought for the right side, though.
He was a dick for it, but then they all try to like gang up on him, and he's like kicking the shit out of them until all of a sudden he takes a slash to the eye. Like really, like
because he's like 14 and they're 6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's knocking them each down with one shot, and then all of a sudden a lucky swipe, and there goes his eye.
All right, so we also got no votes for these guys: Sea Smoke, Stormcloud, Eric's, Tessarion, Jeff,
Really?
Dreamfire, and Taraxes.
I'm surprised Tessarion didn't get any votes.
And then there's a couple other ones that were hatchlings. They didn't have riders yet that died in, but I didn't add them in there. They probably wouldn't have gotten a whole lot of votes anyway. But yeah, a lot of dragons, a lot of cool ones. Balerion pretty much sweeps it all single-handedly, 43 votes at the top.
Badass of the badasses.
Yes, sir, it is. All right, so Lillian, you want to take us into theories?
No, I don't. Because I hate having this conversation. All right, so
Then don't. That doesn't happen in this chapter. They're just hashing this chapter. Whatever that's previous chapters. Don't even get into that. Let's not even cover that.
I don't know if we can do that. All right, so our final section is on theories, and so usually we go over theories or basically anything we couldn't fit into other categories. And I think the biggest theory that applies to this chapter is what hatched the eggs. I really don't want to have this discussion personally because we've had it so many damn times, like in the different groups. So okay. I vote it's a combination of Miri and something special about Dany. That's my thoughts.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's Dany. It's dragon blood. It's Dany. Is special about her. It's regardless of what people want to argue about when the eggs were warm or whatnot. That's a Dany holding them, telling us they feel warm. She has dragon blood, so of course she would be able to sense it. But to everyone else, they're still cool to the touch. That's just her sensing it through her little special Targaryen blood powers, you know. And then, boom, we have dragons because of bodies, or maybe just because it's magic, and she wants to think it's because of 3 bodies, you know.
And I think that's so stupid. So like I said, I just did the first Dany chapter of Clash of Kings, and someone in our group kept bringing it up that confirms that is what it was, because Dany thinks to herself that she paid the 3 lives for the 3 dragons. But the fact of the matter is, when the dragons are hatching and they're in the pyre, okay, so you have Miri's body, you have Drogo's body, but Rhaego's body's not there. Rhaego's been dead. You know, so you can't attribute that, like, that didn't all happen in one event. So I feel like that's not it.
Well, if it's the magic culmination, like, there's the 3 bodies eventually, and then the magical event, the magic culmination is just the burning of the other ones. I'm going to guess that they burned Rhaego.
She never saw him. They just took him somewhere.
Yeah. I'm guessing.
I mean, she details... She describes everything else that goes into the pyre. If they snuck in a dead baby.
I'm saying beforehand. You know, after when they had told her that it was never alive or whatnot. Yeah. And so when they disposed of it before, you know, she's even, like, conscious, I'm going to guess they probably burned it. I mean...
Oh, yeah. They probably did burn the body. Just not in that pyre is what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I think it just has to do with her. It's special with her. It's her. She's having dragon dreams. Mm-hmm. She sends the dragons before anyone else did in the eggs. So, that's my.
What if it's a part of the comment that our MVP Jhogo spots popping up? If it's a combination of Dany and, you know, this weird star that just, you know, drops in, and that brings magic
all around, you know?
Yeah. And that's like a visible symbol of magic that comes in there, and then lo and behold, like that same fucking night, dragons start popping up again. I don't know how detailed the maesters were back in the Age of Dragons, whenever they were just like, oh yeah, like there's also like a comet that passes by every X amount of days. Like, I wonder if that was normal from them, to where like they didn't feel the need to like write it down. Because like a lot of the history that we don't have a whole lot of astronomical history, or like any kind of like celestial references. So like, what if there's like always been like some kind of comet that passes around every so often back then that just stopped and no one fucking recognized it? That's reaching, obviously. That's entire speculation.
Yeah.
But because like this comet first appears here and then dragons happen like that night, no one in the current story knows about. There hasn't been a comet in a while, right?
Not one that looks like that.
As far as we know.
That's as far as we know.
Okay, so if this comet shows up, regardless if there was comets in the past or not, and then Dany has her magic Targaryen dragon blood in a giant fire pyre, so I imagine fire has something to do with it too. That she's seeing all kinds of different colors of flame, so it's obviously a hot fucking fire that there's got all kinds of like different colors and shit. So all that combined in probably has something to do with it, but I don't think it's life swapping.
Yeah.
And an unborn fetus's life gives birth to a dragon that can kill all kinds of people. It's that's the part that throws me off. You want to say Drogo and Miri, like adult lives pass on? Yeah, okay, maybe I can kind of get behind that. But a baby who was never even born,
Whatever.
But then we're getting into all kinds of like, what is life? That's not the path I'm trying to go down. I kind of word my way into that. That's not what I'm trying to do. Not what I'm trying to do at all. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, and I don't think we're gonna get an answer. We're so far removed from this one event, and George R. R. Martin can just be like, it's magic.
No.
And that's fucking
it's like you said, her coming out unburnt, only losing her hair, was a one-time magic.
Yes. Exactly.
So.
And I mentioned this in some comment somewhere, because it said Dany thinks that the sacrifices worked. And all that's important with her saying that is that that's what she thinks. Mm-hmm. She thinks sacrifices and fire pyres and shit is what it takes to hatch dragons. So should Winds of Winter or something comes around and she finds a clutch of dragon eggs at Winterfell or something like that, she's like, oh shit, I've done this before. I need 3 bodies and a big wooden firehouse. Trust me on this, guys.
I got it.
Yeah, right.
And don't try to tackle me when I walk in.
Yeah, Jorah, looking at you.
God.
Joko's gonna be there, and Joko's gonna be like, "No, guys, seriously, like,
She's got it.
trust me on that. Danny, I got your back, Khaleesi.
Oh my
Like,
lord.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No one's getting close. I've seen this happen before." So yeah, watch out, Shireen, Rickon, and who's another child that Danny's gonna
No,
find
it
up
would need
north
to be
and-
Mel because she needs a Meiji.
Oh yeah,
Right.
so it's okay, so we need a child, we need a Meiji, we got
And we need a
Melisandre, and then-
warrior.
yeah, we need a big, strong warrior. So John's already dead, so like she ain't gonna make it over there in time for him. Is it gonna be Stannis?
Oh god, no.
Oh fuck, Jamie. She's gonna burn
No.
Jamie, Mel, and Rickon or Arya. Oh fuck, can it please be Arya?
Could she technically like throw Bran in there and get a 2-for-1 special?
Yeah. Get the wizard and the
Oh my
child in the
God.
same one.
2 witches, a child.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So who's the warrior there?
Oh my god. Why don't you guys let us know what you think the optimal combination for Danny to recreate dragons would be?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a child, a magic person, and
A warrior.
So any combination of those three.
Oh my
Who
god,
you
we should have
sending?
thought of this for the poll. That would have been that would have been amazing.
All right, guys. Well,
Mm.
that about wraps up the thing here. Anybody else got anything else to say about this?
No.
No, man. Hey, I had a blast, y'all. This was awesome.
All right. Well, that's good to hear, Matt. We'll bring you on sometime down the road. We got a lot of chapters to cover moving forward, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll make it on a couple more.
Tyrion 2 and Clash. I want it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my egg on the first thing. I want that one for sure.
Yeah, we'll get you on for that one for sure. So guys, track us down on Twitter. We'll try to be more active if we'll see what's going on forward. We're at Glass Candle Podcast. We're on YouTube now. Lillian set up our YouTube account, so if you guys can't listen to us on SoundCloud, obviously you listen to us on YouTube then anyway. But go find us on YouTube at is it Glass Candle Podcast?
Yep.
Just straight up.
Yep.
Find us on there, subscribe, give us some boost. We actually got like 18 views on our episode from last week, and I think a majority of those are people we don't recognize from the group or haven't given us any indication that they are from the Facebook group.
People that have
Um,
liked and commented on not even just that video, but like even on the Fever Dream, our very first, like the worst audio quality one.
Oh yeah, God,
I have
that
no
one's
idea
terrible.
who these people are. So it's not people we know. So that's kind of cool. Because usually it's just people
Yeah,
we know.
so if you guys subscribe to that and like them and comment on that, it'll expose our bad takes and trolling and rambling to more people. We're not too serious about this. We just obviously joke and have fun with the whole thing. But yeah, so spread us around, get more people to hear our stupid shit. Like and join in on our Facebook group, A Song of Ice or AS.
OIAF.
Fucking acronym /GOT discussions and theories on Facebook. All three of us are admins over there, so you can hear us talk about other stuff and give more of our opinions on anything to do about A Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe less of Game of Thrones. I really don't talk about the show a whole lot, but yeah, lots of good show discussions still going on over there with a ton of other people. We have like 9,000 something members.
22.
Yeah, 22,000. I saw last week. In the last 7 days, we had 9,000 active members. So.
Okay, I was like, where the hell did you get 9?
Yeah. I was looking at the graphics and stuff the other day. So in the last 7 days, we've had at least 9,000 people interact. 22.4, I believe, is the total membership count.
It doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. It's a big group, is what I'm trying to say. Lots of opinions and takes going on in there. So give the group a follow or join in on the group. Follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube page. That's all I got.
Thanks, guys.
All right, y'all.